Hello and welcome to the OneSpatial Geocortex Printing webinar. I'm Harry Stelly, a GIS consultant at OneSpatial. Hopefully you can all hear me loud and clear and my screen is clearly visible at this stage. If you have any questions or any issues, then please type them in the chat box or the questions box and we will address these as necessary. We will be recording this session, so you will receive an email with the link to the recording after the session is finished. At OneSpatial, we are a software solutions provider and a global expert in managing location and geospatial data. We have a number of offices around the world, including here in the UK, the United States, Australia, France, Belgium, and Ireland. And across these territories, we work primarily in three key sectors: government, utilities, and transport. Within these industry sectors, we offer software solutions, product licensing, training, and consultancy services, which can include, where necessary, the add-on of technology provided by our partners in order to ensure that we are able to deliver the highest quality of service to our customers. Looking specifically at our Geocortex software solution, we have worked with GIS, formerly Latitude Geographic, since 2011 when we started selling Geocortex in the UK. And as you can see from this slide, during this period, we have worked with a wide variety of customers from a range of sectors. Geocortex offer a suite of products, including mobile and web viewers such as Geocortex Mobile and the HTML5 viewer, and capabilities that can be consumed within a viewer, including workflow, reporting, and printing. And finally, their newest accessibility and management tools, access control and analytics. The capabilities offered enable you to build custom widgets to extend your web or mobile GIS without the need for coding. And today, I will be showing you how you can use Geocortex Printing to simplify printing for your Esri and Geocortex applications. Geocortex Printing brings you versatility, so you can meet even the most complicated printing requirements. Secure use of templates, allowing you to control who can access your print templates by user type. And flexibility, allowing you to configure titles, notes, logos, and other parameters to meet your unique printing needs. The new Geocortex Printing acts as a standalone product, providing you with the capability to build completely custom print templates in your browser. Geocortex Printing is a reimagination of printing in Geocortex Essentials, with some exciting big differences, including a new web-based design experience to make print template authoring easier and accessible to more users, where you can configure print templates right in your browser using drag and drop functionality and a wide range of ready-made controls and layouts. You can also control access to print templates using the ArcGIS sharing model in either ArcGIS Online or Portal. It supports smart legend filtering, which allows a print output to only include legend swatches that actually appear on the map extent. And you can specify parameters so that the user can input a title, a description, or other notes at the time of printing. Geocortex Printing no longer relies on a desktop application. It can support secured map services and other layer types, including 3D scene printing with dynamic legends. With Geocortex Printing, you can include your organization's logo, your color scheme, your legal information, and other branding components wherever you'd like them to appear on the map. It can seamlessly integrate into Geocortex Essentials to allow you to use printing templates alongside your existing version 4 templates. It is offered both as a software as a service and an on-premise version to suit any deployment. And you can view a full preview of your print output using real data when creating a template. You have the ability to print from Web AppBuilder applications using a printing widget. With Geocortex Printing, you can generate true to scale, high quality, high resolution map print outputs in all sizes. So now let's have a look at how. I'll start by opening up the Geocortex Print Designer. Today I'm using an on-premise version, which means that I have signed in using my Portal for ArcGIS identity, as we can see here. And once logged in, you can see that I'm met with a number of pre-built templates for different page sizes. So I'll start by selecting the A4 template, as this seems like a fairly common use case. And once opened, we can see that this print template that has been generated for me has a number of different elements, most of which you would traditionally expect to see on a printed map. So for example, we can see we have our main map area here, as well as an overview map, a logo, and we also have our legend, a north arrow, and a scale bar. You can also see that we have a couple of parameters that have been included. So we can see we have parameters title, and then also parameters notes. These are things that the user will be prompted to input at the time of generating a print. It can be difficult to imagine how this template would appear in real life. So let's quickly generate a preview for this template. I can easily do this by selecting the preview button from the toolbar, entering a suitable title such as preview, and then choosing run. Unlike with Geocortex Printing 4, because we're using a web-based designer in the new Geocortex Printing, I can now generate a preview with an actual map and populate those print elements as required. So you would have seen that I had the ability to enter both a title and notes. And once completed, we will see that a map output that will be generated from my A4 print template that will be based on the Los Angeles area for demo reasons. So here we go. We can now see a base map displaying Los Angeles, which has been populated both in my main map as well as the overview map at the different scale. We can see the title has been entered as I typed it in. And in this case, we do not have any legend items because there are no map services included in this preview map. So if I just close that result now, I can return to Geocortex Printing. Now we have seen a preview of this template, I can make some changes in order to personalize this template for my own use case. So for example, I can start by just adding our own logo, which I can easily do by selecting your organization and then choosing the image source. In this case, I'll just select this one spatial image file that I have here. Once added, you can see that I have some different options for how to configure this image in the print template. So I can choose sizing, and in this case, I can select normal because I know that the picture file that I'm using is the correct size for this map element in the template. I could also change things like the alignment, but I'll keep that as it is for the time being. I could also apply other customizations, such as changing the font or the layout. So for example, I can easily click and drag in order to move a print template element. In this case, we can see that the template has automatically turned red to indicate that one of my elements is outside of the printed area. So I'll just undo that now. But for the purpose of this demo, I'll keep everything else for the same for the time being. So now I'll just save my template, giving it a suitable name, such as A4 print, so that I know what size it is when I come to run it. And then I can actually add our print template to a viewer, so we can see how it will actually run in an application. So I'll switch to Geocortex Essentials Manager. And here I have a demo site running with a web map of Cambridge, including two map services, one displaying some of the pubs around the centre, and another displaying some of the buildings in the Cambridge Business Park, where our head office is based. So I'll quickly add my print template by choosing Print Template from the left-hand side. It would seem that my login is timed out, so I'll just sign in again using my portal identity. There we go. I can now choose Add a Print Template. Again, enter a suitable display name, such as A4 Print, enter a description if I needed to, and then press Next. At this stage, you can see that I now have the option to either add a print template defined by an ArcGIS item, as we have with the new Geocortex Printing Designer, or actually I could also add a print template that's defined by an RPX file using the older version of Geocortex Printing. So I'll just stick with the ArcGIS item for now. I can then type in order to search any print templates which I've created against my portal account. And you can see straight away I have available the A4 print template which I've created this morning. So I'll just add that now. I'll apply my changes and then I'll save my site. I can then launch the viewer so that we can have a look at how this template will actually be run from the HTML5 viewer. So I'll start by just zooming into a suitable area. Say this area close to the river and by Jesus Green. Once I'm happy, I can then select Tools and choose Print from the toolbar. Immediately we can see that I have a red box displayed to indicate the area that will be printed. And we can see that my layout, A4 Print, has been selected in the drop-down on the left-hand side. And this is because I only have one template added in this case. We also have some other customizations available, such as choosing the output format, adding a grid if necessary, and the ability to change the map scale had I added a different one. Then we can also see at the bottom here that I have those two input parameters which I've touched upon, which the user is able to input at the time of printing. So I'll just call this one Geocortex Essentials Manager Printing in this case. I could then also add any notes if I want to, or I can also choose to not lock the print preview with map. This allows me to click and drag so I can change the area that will actually be printed on my map extent. And very helpfully, because I can see the red box, I know how it's going to appear when I actually run my print. So now that I'm happy with that area, I can choose print. Unlike other printing services, Geocortex Printing exports the map extent exactly as it appears in the viewer. So what you see is what you get, and our output map will match the exact area that is shown within the red box that I've just been able to move around. Now, in this case, we are running Geocortex Printing as a tool on its own. However, in the future, we could, if we wanted to, combine Geocortex Printing with Geocortex Workflow to allow the user to run a print output from a display form, for example, therefore allowing the user to have a greater interaction with the printing process. So now we can see, after a few moments, my printing file is completed and it's available to open using this button on the left-hand side. Once open, we can now see that I have the logo as I added, the title which I typed in, and this time our legend has been populated for us as well. In some cases, as we have now, you may find the legend items do not always fit on the page, or actually they don't always appear in the map extent. So we can see we have the Cambridge Business Park buildings here, whereas they're not actually visible within our map extent. To alleviate this issue, I can enable smart legend filtering so that the legend will only display those map elements which are visible within my current map extent. So to do that, I'll just close my result and then return to Geocortex Print Designer. I can then select my legend and simply check Enable Smart Filter, remembering to save my template again before returning to the viewer again and refreshing my page so that we can run it again and now see how the Print Designer acts differently. So again, I'll zoom into a different area of Cambridge, this time say in this area that rather unfortunately doesn't have any pubs and seems to be an area of the sports centre. I can then choose Tools and then select Printing again. We can then see my layout has been selected as before, and I can keep the other parameters the same, but entering a title, say Smart Legend Filtering in this case. Then again, if I select Print, we'll run our print to see how the output will appear. And as mentioned before, I could at this stage combine the Geocortex Printing capability with Geocortex Workflow, which in this case could allow the user to choose which layers should or should not appear in the final output. This could then work in conjunction with Smart Legend Filtering to ultimately display only those items that are actually of interest to the user. So now it's been generated, I can choose Open File again, and this time we can see that no items have been added to the legend because there are neither any pubs or Cambridge Business Park buildings within the map extent. Now, as with other Geocortex capabilities, I can also run Geocortex Printing from other viewing platforms, such as Geocortex Web. So to do this, I'll navigate to Geocortex Web, where I have a web application running with the same Cambridge web app, including my pubs map service and my Cambridge Business Park buildings, as we can see here. I could add my printing capability to a few different places in the viewer, but for the purpose of this demo, I'll add it to the left-hand side where I already have some other tools added. So I'll select Printing from the Components menu, and then I can choose Add Print Templates. And straight away, I'll be shown a list of all print templates which I've created in the Geocortex Printing Designer against my portal account. So again, I'll select my A4 print template. And once added, we can then see that we have a number of different options that I can configure. So I could add a different spatial reference grid if I wanted to, or I can actually add some different resolutions as well. So I'll just add 96 dpi as a sort of normal resolution, and then perhaps something like 300 dpi to provide the user with a high resolution option. Now I can save my web map as I've updated it, and then I can choose to launch it so we can run it and see how it looks running from Geocortex Web. So I'll do that by selecting Deploy and then Launch Development App. Once loaded, I can select my printing tool from the left-hand side by choosing Show Toolbar and Print. This time we can see that I do have a demonstration template added, as well as my A4 print template. As soon as I select A4 print, we can see that the map area highlights that which will be shown on my print output, and I can easily change this by just clicking and dragging this time. I could also type in a different scale if I wanted to, say perhaps 50,000 in this case, and we can see I'm automatically zoomed out. I can also enter a rotation field because we're using Geocortex Web. It has that additional functionality. And then I can also enter a suitable title as well, say Geocortex Web Printing, for example. And then I can choose Print. And straight away, we can see there that my map has been rotated by 90 degrees as specified. So this is how it will appear on my map output. And because we're using Geocortex Web, as I mentioned, we do have the option to have our printing tool available anywhere within the viewer. So for example, I could have instead had that component available on the right-hand side here, below the 2D, 3D toggle and the north arrow. I could also have any number of printing components within my viewer. So for example, perhaps you want your web application to be solely used for printing. I could therefore have multiple different components for my different print sizes or my different templates to provide the user with a much simpler printing experience. Now we can see that my print job is completed and I've got a green message to confirm that. I can then just click to download and we can see how our PDF appears when it's been run from Geocortex Web. I've got my title as I entered, and then I've got my legend items on the right hand side here, and we can see that our map extent has been rotated as I did in Geocortex Web. As with other Geocortex capabilities, I can also easily add this print template to Esri's Web AppBuilder application as a widget. So here I have Web AppBuilder running, again with the exact same web map of Cambridge, showing Cambridge pubs and the Cambridge Business Park buildings here. I can choose the Widget tab, and then I can select an empty slot as indicated by a number. Straight away, we can see that I have Geocortex Printing available here alongside Esri's own widgets. So I'll select that now and then choose OK. Just allowing it a few seconds to load the widget in before I'm able to customize it and add the print template which I've created this morning. I could change the name or change the icon at this stage as well, or I can just select Add Print. And again, as with Geocortex Web, I'm straight away shown a list of the different Geocortex printing templates which I've created against my portal account. So I'll select our A4 print again, and then choose OK. I can then save my Web AppBuilder application and choose to launch it so that we can run our print template from the Web AppBuilder viewer. Just allowing a few seconds to load up and display our base map and map services. And once fully loaded, I'll then be able to select my Geocortex Printing widget from the toolbar where I've added it, as we can see here. So I'll just choose Printing now, and we can see that I have my two different templates available. I have the ability to input a title again, so just call it Web AppBuilder Printing. Enter any notes as desired. I can also change the scale. And then I also have the ability to choose between a normal and a high resolution as well, and also add on a grid if I wanted to, or for selecting print. You will notice in this case that we don't have a box to indicate the exact extent, which can make it slightly more difficult when using the print tool in Esri's Web AppBuilder in order to work out what the exact extent is that you will be able to see on your output. However, despite the fact that I'm using an Esri web application rather than Geocortex, my Geocortex capability is running in the exact same manner, just as I have shown this morning with the HTML5 viewer and Geocortex Web. And the benefit of using the Geocortex Printing widget is that I'm able to fully customize my print templates and alter any print elements, such as the branding and the Smart Legend features, as we have seen. So now that we can see it's completed, I can select my A4 print from the results menu. And once open, we can then see, again, we have that exact same template generated, but from a different viewer. This time with the legend populated because we have our buildings here and the pubs towards the center, and my title as I typed in. So, in conclusion, Geocortex Printing is easy to use, and it empowers many people within your organization to create their own layouts without requiring an ArcGIS desktop license. It is easy to integrate into both the Geocortex Viewer for HTML5 and Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS. It's extremely flexible in layout design, and you can configure nearly any elements of your print layout to meet your unique needs. The design experience is intuitive, it's versatile, and it supports third-party APIs, allowing you to meet virtually any printing requirement. And using Geocortex Printing, you can create layouts for any page size. And finally, building and maintaining custom print templates is very difficult. Why would you create a custom print template only for an Esri API change to stop it from working as expected? With Geocortex Printing, it's much easier to both create and maintain your templates, saving you both time and money. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask now or get in touch via email. Or for more information, please feel free to visit our website. Okay, so we have one question that's come in here, which says, how is Geocortex Printing licensed? And actually, so the licensing for Geocortex Printing is managed in the same way as the other Geocortex capabilities. So it's managed through your ArcGIS Online or portal identity. And it's available solely as a subscription only for all new purchases. The Geocortex capabilities can be licensed as a different edition offering. So you could, for example, license all 3 different capabilities together, or you could license them along with the Geocortex Essentials, or with the different viewers as well, such as Geocortex Web and Mobile, as we've seen today. Okay, and another question we've had. So what is the difference between an on-premise deployment and a software as a service deployment of Geocortex Printing? So an on-premise deployment of the Geocortex capabilities or viewers would be hosted locally without any data leaving your local portal environment, wherever your data store might be installed or located. Whereas a software as a service deployment is hosted in the cloud, and access would be authorized using ArcGIS Online as opposed to Portal. And for the software as a service, the software is subject to on-demand updates. Whereas if you're using the on-premise version, you would be required to update your own on-premise installs yourself. We'll just wait a few more moments to see if there are any further questions. Okay, so we've just got one final question here, which says, can I import or use my RPX template or report into the new printing template? The short answer is you cannot import your old RPX templates directly, but as I've shown this morning, you can, for the time being, use them alongside your new printing templates, as I demonstrated in the Geocortex Essentials Manager. I think that's all questions, so thank you all for listening. I do hope this has been an interesting and informative webinar. You can join us next month to hear about how you can use Geocortex reporting with your Web GIS. Thank you.